What does this all mean?
So we already knew that they were trying to raise about 3 trillion yen from this IPO, but now we're learning that they want to allocate about 2 trillion of this to individual retail investors. Now, for some context, the amount that's allocated to individuals varies country by country, offering by offering, but the size of the amount that they want to allocate shows that they're expecting very strong demand from the individual investors in Japan. Now, when we spoke to analysts told Bloomberg that given the strong brand presence of SoftBank and the fact that Masa-san has said that they plan to give high dividends to their investors, that there will be strong demand from individuals.
So, what do we know about how big this IPO will really be?
So 3 trillion yen, and in terms of the size that they're selling to retailers, if the 2 trillion yen actually comes to fruition, that would be a record sale of shares to the retail investor, and so it's a pretty big deal. Now, stepping back a little bit, the spinoff of this mobile unit from the SoftBank Group is a big deal for Masa-san because he is really trying to shift his attention to this tech conglomerate that has been investing in startups from Uber to WeWork, and now he's able to really focus more of his time on that tech investing conglomerate. And when we spoke to him the other month, he already said that he's dedicating about 97% of his time to investing and only 3% of it to the mobile telecoms unit, and this will make that official.
So then is this particular unit fairly protected from the controversy surrounding SoftBank's ties to Saudi money?
It's a great question. It has been decently protected. That part of the unit doesn't rely on Saudi Arabia in the same way that the Vision Fund does. And earlier this week, when they reported earnings, Masa-san, during a briefing, did mention that he did meet with the Crown Prince. He spoke about how horrible the issue was and pressed him for more information, but that the quote he said was basically, it's a terrible tragedy that should not have occurred. But on the other hand, we have accepted an investment from the citizens of Saudi Arabia. It's an important investment for the economic diversification of Saudi Arabia to get their economy away from depending solely on crude oil. We cannot turn our backs on the Saudi people. Now, another interesting piece of news shifting back to the mobile unit is that Masa-san has said he plans on cutting a significant percentage of the workforce to increase profits, and they plan to get there largely through automation.
Now, this is just another step in the sort of overall remaking of SoftBank. Ultimately, once this happens, if it happens, what does SoftBank look like? What remains?
Now, what will be there will be this tech conglomerate, this Vision Fund that we've seen really fueling the ambitions of Masa-san. He wants to be driving the future of artificial intelligence, and he thinks that by investing in these companies that he can propel them to the dominant positions in every industry, because he believes that artificial intelligence is going to drastically change companies around the globe. Now, this really means that Masa-san can focus on these grand ambitions. He's not going to be thinking about the day-to-day operations of this mobile telecoms unit that he has been mired in for most of his career, and now he can really double down on investing here. And we have yet to see if the controversy with Saudi Arabia is going to have any impact on the fund. It seems that, as we've reported before, that it's going to be very difficult for him to find tens of billions of dollars from any other single entity beyond Saudi Arabia.